We are practicing COVID safety measures. We are still working on site. So yes, folks who come, we are offering telehealth Monday through Friday from about 12 to 1:15, but we are on site. We are still doing on-site groups amongst other services that we are providing. So some of our COVID safety measures that we're practicing is everyone gets their temperature checked as soon as they walk in the door. They're given a mask and they are prompt to use hand sanitizer. So first thing, we are a free program, so nobody gets turned away for a lack of financial support. And we offer almost everything. We offer evidence-based, meaning-centered groups, self-help groups. We are offering GED classes. We offer free breakfast and lunch, tattoo cover-ups by appointment, meditation, employment services, housing services. We do assist with IDs, birth certificates. As of right now, the Secretary of State did close down from this past Tuesday to December 7th, so that's temporarily on hold, the IDs. Um, also have a CRSS program where patients who successfully complete our program can be trained on becoming a certified recovery support specialist and are able to work back in the field, including with us. So we do offer overdose prevention training, and we give out naloxone kits to patients, family members, and community members. Our services are not only limited, and it depends, not only limited to our patients, but we do offer services to individuals living in the community. So things that we are, is up and coming, we did expand our we did create office space for our patients who are in the near future going to be receiving some medical services. And we did start a self-help PCP for folks who are who experience PCP drug use. We saw a high number of folks who were coming in who weren't able to fit in certain groups or identify with other folks who battled opiate or a cocaine drug use disorder. So we do have a group tailored to PCP folks. And we are starting a new group called Off the Races, which is for people to learn to talk about race, which is an open forum for discussing race and impacts on systematic racism. And those are, I think that's pretty much it that I remember right now. So if anyone has any questions for me, I did leave my email, melissa@anb. Again, we're a free program and we are accepting new patients. Thank you.
Thank you. Real quick, I don't want to put you on blast, Ms. Hernandez. Can you talk about your project and what you're doing?
Okay.
Because you know, she volunteers with Westside Health Authority. I didn't really get into everything that we do. You guys pretty much know a lot of the stuff that we do, but the work that she's doing within her own non-for-profit, I just wanted to highlight that and you know, just talk about that just real quick if you can.
Okay, yeah, sure. Definitely. So I founded a nonprofit organization. It's called the Puerto Rico Project, which was based on a whole human trafficking scheme that was taking place by Puerto Rico's government, and folks were getting sent here to Chicago to unlicensed treatment programs. Now, Puerto Rico's government is no longer doing that. I utilized a lot of political news sources from Puerto Rico. So that stopped, but I do have a nonprofit which provides direct aid to individuals battling chronic homelessness. I do go to homeless encampments and provide hot cooked meals, clothes, jackets. I also provide harm reduction. I distribute harm reduction material, a syringe access program. I do also clean up communities upon request if there's any syringe litter. And I do overdose prevention trainings for individuals who are pretty much living on the street, and for family members and anyone who pretty much contacts me. And I provide naloxone kits as well. And I refer people, of course, to services.
Yeah. So my point in that was just to, kind of let you guys know that she does a lot, but also to let you know that if you are doing things too, we want to make sure that we are keeping each other in the know of things that are going on in your community. So if you have things that you're doing outside of what your regular work is, we don't know if you don't tell us, right? So we want you to share that, let us know, and then maybe we can collaborate. Maybe we can come together and start working together. The goal is to empower our people, Black and brown, white, everybody. We can't turn anybody away. So the only way that we're going to be able to do those things is if we're working together. All right. So I just wanted to make sure that you know that if you have things that you want to get out there, the floor is open for that. So I just wanted to if you have any resources, any events that are coming up, let us know. We can't be a part of it, or we can't put the word out if you don't let us know. So.
Thank you, Joseph.
Any announcements, any events coming up this month or early December that anybody wants to let anybody know about?
I forgot one thing. So I am working on a specific project. It's a food pantry project that we are going to be opening up in Inglewood, specifically on 63rd and Ashland. So we are currently accepting uncooked items, canned goods, prepackaged foods. So again, we're opening up a food pantry, above and beyond food pantry. I think that's what we're going to call it, on 63rd and Ashland, beginning of December. We're also open for volunteers as well. Thanks.
All right. All right. I'm trying to get back to the meeting.
Hi, everybody. I just wanted to let you know that once again, when I was working a full-time job plus doing the DUI, so basically, if you haven't met me, I'm counseling first and I do DUIs for the reentry population, which is kind of a different kind of a DUI. I also do everything, any kind of services that they need. I'm licensed for that, including probation. So I do get probation clients. Now, because of the pandemic, I can serve anyone, anywhere, because we're allowed to do telehealth. So I'm going above and beyond the call of duty to make sure that people don't even have to come to my office to get their services done. And I even met some clients out at the hearing officer, which they didn't want me there because that's when they do the hearings and you're not supposed to do that. So I kind of got told about that. But I've got a lot of repeat people that never got their license, and now that there's a virus, they don't want to ride the train, or they want to be able to drive. And so I'm kind of going above and beyond that call of duty to help some of those people that kind of got lost in the shuffle, try to help them get their license back. And I have not raised my prices like I was going to, because I've been told I'm way below market rate. My competitors do not like that. But the clients, a lot of them are unemployed right now. So I'm doing my best to keep, basically I just, charge a copay for all the DUI services, and I help the client with that. So if anybody has any clients that need help with that, let me know.
And Ms. Berry, the chat is asking you to share your information in the chat when you get a chance.
Yes, I will.
All right. Is there anybody else that has any announcements, any programs that are starting up that you want to let us know about? Ms. Odell?
Hi, I just wanted to say that our recruitment is open for our entrepreneur boot camp right now for anybody who has come home. It's a free class and it's going to start December 10th. It will be held on Thursday evenings and Saturday mornings for 2 hours each time. Anybody who's interested can reach out to me. I can put my email in the chat. I think, Joseph, thank you for sending out the flyer, but we are able to, serve as many people who want to take this class as possible. And it's a 13-week class. It will incorporate the teachings of entrepreneurship as well as business coaching. And at the end, we'll have a pitch showcase, and we will also provide a certificate of completion. And then people who want to go further with us can apply for our accelerator, which ultimately can lead to funding. So thanks.
And that's an opportunity for somebody who has that entrepreneurial spirit or that doesn't know that they have that entrepreneurial spirit. Once a person finds their purpose, they find out that they might not want to just work for somebody. They may have a skill or something, let's say for Ms. Knox at the Greater Food Depository, where now they become a chef and they want to open up their own restaurant. So we want to encourage them to, just because you got a record don't mean you can't, own your own business. Some of the greatest men and women of this country, have had backgrounds. Some don't even have high education, but they had that passion to go for what they believed in. So we want to encourage that. And Miss Odell, if you can put your information in the chat as well. But I have sent out flyers for it. So if you have people, please. Is there anybody else that has any announcement or any event that they want to let us know about?
Yeah, I just want to share to Ms. Knox, Malik Kemakai, your director over there, he went through that entrepreneurial sunshine ship. I went to his graduation. He used to be with us here at Howard area, but now he's you all director over there with you, right, Ms. Knox?
Correct.
Okay, I just wanted to share that.
Yeah, he speaks about Howard area all the time.
Yeah, thank you.
Well,
Anybody have, go
I
ahead.
have a quick update. So I just wanted to announce that we are still accepting students for our job training programs. As I mentioned in the chat, we were formerly labeled Chicago Community Kitchens, which is our our flagship program. But right now, since of COVID, the pandemic, we are on hiatus until indefinitely because we don't know when things will turn back to normal. So instead, we decided to expand our workforce offerings, and we just piloted our food handler program last month at the beginning of October. And basically it's a hybrid program. It happens in person and virtually as well. We provide study support packets. That's when students come in every Friday to pick up transportation assistance, signed documents, anything they need. And we are going to be taking a brief break in the month of December due to the holidays, and we don't want to have any interruptions. But after that, every month we are still offering our job training programs. We have a food handler program, and we have a front of the house customer service excellence program. And we are further expanding our job training offers. There should be a recruitment partner blast coming out very soon. We're going to be offering certified logistics and warehouse training program. So we're very excited about that. And that should be starting up in the spring.
Sounds good. I want to acknowledge two people real quick. For those of you who probably know who've been on these calls, Maureen Perkins would usually be on these calls. She would actually do the prayer. And she's worked for CSAC South before, but she was over here at CSAC West as a job developer and job coach for over the past year. She's no longer working with us. She's moved on to a more remote job because of her, she has younger children and needs to be at home with them while they're homeschooled. So she didn't get a chance to be on the last call, but I definitely want to recognize her. And I also wanted to recognize Ms. Lindsay Wade, who is usually the moderator for the CSAC North meetings. All the work that she's done over the years since I've been in, in this position. She's always provided everybody with resources, information, and just tried to push the envelope on the dialogue that we had together. So I just wanted to make sure that people knew that they were no longer with us, but we do salute and appreciate their efforts and contribution to this work that we do.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that, Joseph. And we're not having any meetings, I don't think, until probably January,
Okay.
but we will get the information, invitations out to you all as well. Yeah, we miss Lindsay Wade.
All
But
right.
we will be getting the information, like I said, this month, next month, we probably not gonna have a meeting, but we will let you know, okay?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Also, we do have a CSAC West Facebook page. It is private, so if you know you might be on Facebook, social media. We are trying to make sure that we are getting information out as quickly as possible, and it's a way for you to also share information as well. So it's a private group. You have to be. I push the button to get you in, but I also am very active with just sending out information, trying to keep people updated. I'm still sending out through the big blast, but Facebook, I'm trying to use social media just because everybody is so much at home to kind of push the envelope a little bit and get everybody in tune with what's going on. So here is the link. If you want to join, we welcome you to join. And it's just day to day of what's going on, not only with CSAC West, but also with Westside Health Authority as well. And then things that are going on with everybody else, because a lot of you are on the social media. And when you post things, I make sure to not only share it on my page, but to share it also in that group. So if you have a chance, definitely join and we will add you. So before we go on to our inspirational speaker, I wanted to talk about the meeting that took place this past Monday with the Congressman Danny Davis. So it's a reentry meeting that a lot of you were invited to. That's on this call, some of you weren't. So, you know, as the coordinator, it's my job to make sure that you are informed on what was talked about and what took place. So mostly was an update on things that are going on. So we're talking about the Pell Grant that that Danny Davis has been trying to restore, get back in place for our returning citizens so that they can have an opportunity to further their education without having to come out of pocket, you know, to take classes. Malcolm X is also on board with this, but they have really been pushing for this. And now that we have this push in Congress, we're hoping in 2021 to make this one of the agendas that we're going to go forward with. So the congressman is asking for our support. If you don't know about the Pell Grant for our returning citizens, I would hope that you would educate yourself, do some research as much as you possibly can on that initiative. The other thing that was talked about, I think her name was Miss Bennett, Miss Kanya Bennett, was the Bail Project, right? And this is primarily for those who are in Cook County Jail, okay? The Bail Project is something that, I see some links. The Bail Project is something that is also very important to not only, you know, our citizens, because they're stuck in a situation where they can't get bail, and these are petty crimes. These are crimes that, you know, usually, you know, would be like a slap on the wrist or whatnot. So they talked about it briefly, but I have a link that I'm going to send Monday that's going to go more in depth on that situation. The last thing that they talked about was really these sector groups. And I'm going to put the link right now in the chat. But let me read first. I think I can share this. Well, according to Vischer and Travis 2003, there are 4 policies and program areas which impact the success of individuals returning from prison or entering into the criminal justice system. Those areas are pre-prison circumstances, demographic profile, work history and job skills, criminal history, substance abuse involvement, and family characteristics. The second one is in prison experiences, length of stay, participation in treatment programs, contact with family and friends, pre-release participation, and then immediate post-prison experience. And the last one was post-release integration experience. So what the congressmen and these individuals are asking for is for support on joining these committee groups. The email, well, I'm gonna send a link and it kind of goes over everything, but if you are interested in being in any of these subgroups, and they're all listed in the link, I want to encourage you to get involved, because a lot of people, sometimes the small voices aren't always heard. And I noticed one thing on that call Monday is that there were a lot of people who had a lot of opinions and they wanted to share them. They wanted to talk about the great work that people are doing. And a lot of times the smaller organizations don't really get their voices heard. And that's why CSAC is so important, right? So that the smaller organizations and the big organizations all get to let their voices be heard, because everybody's doing the work. And the goal is always going to be, as long as I'm in this work, is to empower the people that are coming home and make sure that they have what they need so that they can be successful. That's all I care about, right? That's it. So I want to encourage you to look at this Google Doc. If you are interested in it, you just follow the instructions, and then you will be sent the information via your email to kind of get a part of these groups and have your voice be heard, right? But make sure you join the right group, okay? With that being said, I want to move on to, oh, well, does anybody have any questions or any other announcements before we move on? I hear some noise, but I don't hear no talking. Okay. So I'm gonna let, because I got to get this inspirational speaker. He need to get some rest, okay? I want to introduce someone who was actually on a call. Was that last year or was that early this year? No, that was early this year before we shut down. And we actually made a video on this. You know, since I met Mr. Carter, man, and I met him in Sheridan facility. His word has been his bond. Everything that he said he's gonna do, he's done it. He went through above and beyond, graduated. He went through, you know, he's in the CTA Second Chance program. It's one of the reasons why I asked Ms. Brown to come on this call to explain what's going on, but it's one of the reasons why I wanted to highlight, because it's been some months now. He's been in the program for a while. And we're not here to talk about the past. We're here to talk about what is it like to work for the CTA, and what is your future? You know, what's going on for your future? So I'll put the link in the description if you haven't watched our video for CSAC, the West Side Health Authority, because he's pretty much like the star of the video. I also want to give a shout out to David McCaskill and Katrina, because both of them do an extensive background on the people that we push through to the CTA Second Chance program. It's not easy to get in. And just because you have all the documents doesn't mean that you're going to be that right fit or the right person to go down there, right? And a number of people on this call, your organizations actually have contracts as well. But at Westside Health Authority, we want to send the creme de la creme. And no other person that I could put that I've met since I've been doing this work fits that bill more than Mr. Raphael Carter. So just briefly, just let us know how you doing. I know you sleepy, you got your family and everything, but I appreciate you coming on the call. And I just, you know, I love to champion you because you do the work, man. You did everything that you said you was gonna do, and you live in life, bro. So you got the floor, brother.
Good afternoon, everybody. All I gotta say is, you know, like Mr. Green always tell me, you know, it's a purpose. You know, I'm just doing what I'm supposed to do, and you know, just bringing the best out of myself to make it to the goals that I set for myself. You know, and try to go above and beyond my duties, you know, and stay positive and, you know, never forget where I came from, you know, because that kind of keeps me humble, you know, never get relaxed like, you know, I'm used to, you know, getting stuff. I always remember, you know, the when he first came to Sheridan and was speaking and I heard about the CTA second chance and I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. By me being in here, I can get out and actually work for the CTA. So that really sparked something in me to like, man, this could be my chance to straighten my life out for good, you know, like, you know, so I just took advantage of every opportunity that was presented to me, and you know, he guided me and told me to do this, and you know, he still give me advice to this day. You know, I call him if I need some advice, or you know, if he sees something that I might need, you know, so. I really appreciate that, and I really appreciate the CTA second chance, and I'm just, you know, staying focused and waiting to, you know, whenever it's my time to make it to the next level and uplifting myself to, you know, just taking care of my family and doing what's right and just, you know, trying to find some happiness and throughout the pandemic and everything, you know. So I mean, it's just like a blessing. You know, I've been blessed ever since I was released and I haven't had any bad situations. So, you know, it's just like a dream, you know, I'm just living a dream, you know, I'm just keep going, keep going.
Yes, sir. What's your position again at the CTA?
I'm a bus service apprentice.
Okay. So what's the day to day with that? What are you doing there?
I clean the buses, like detail them, you know, when they come from the streets, they take them through the wash, they gas them up and they bring them around to my little area. It's called the GC area, you know, general cleaning. And I you know, get the little paper, the little you know, disinfect the rails and you know, the little clean the driver's area off and stuff like that, clean the windows, you know, just really kind of make it look presentable for the next passengers that's about to board. So
Yes, sir. Do anybody got any questions for him? Because I want him to go to sleep. He gotta go. he gotta go. He gotta get some rest so he can go.
Okay, this Tanya, I got a real quick question. Did you find it hard? Because I used to work at Cook County Jail and, you know, also a couple of transitional facilities. And I used to hear how hard it is for an incarcerated individual to get back into family, just being a part of a family unit and, you know, just kind of getting back into society. Did you find that hard, or, you know, did you have a support group, a support system other than Mr. Green?
yeah, other than Mr. Green, I had my family, you know, they was rooting for me, like, you know, because they always tell me you're not a bad guy, you just make bad decisions. So if you know, put a little effort in trying to just do the right thing, it'll work out for you, you know. It for me, it's really, if you want it, if a person really kind of don't want it, it's not gonna work. So I feel like if you really want it, you'll really do the things, stay away from things that causes you know, the negative outcomes and stuff. So if you change a couple of things, and I mean, well, for me, like I said, I haven't had a bad experience in like 15 months, you know, so it's just like I'm living a dream, you know. It's like I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. I'm with my family and everybody happy to see me. Oh, you know. So it's like it's a good feeling, and I don't want it to end. So I'm never doing anything to mess that up. And I feel like if you have a system like Mr. Green and a family, and then you look at your kids as inspiration, you know, you really can't go wrong, because there's nothing that you'll do to kind of mess that up. So for me, I would say it's not hard. It's just if you determined to change.
Any other questions?
I just want to add to what Mr. Carter is saying, and he really is downplaying the work that he does and the importance, especially in this time of the coronavirus pandemic, the work that Mr. Carter and other participants in the Second Chance program do keeps the infrastructure of the city going, right? Transportation is a major part of the city of Chicago's infrastructure. If we didn't have people, essential workers like Mr. Carter doing the fantastic job that he's doing, you know, unfortunately, we're seeing our numbers rise, but we know it's not attributed to CTA because we have put extra people out there and they are doing a fantastic job. And I just want everyone, as well as Mr. Carter, to understand how important he, you know, he kind of plays now, I'm a bus service apprentice, CTA, the bus, you know, but he's sanitizing and deep cleaning those buses in a time where it's essential that that be done to help, you know, keep this pandemic as controlled as it is in its out of control state. Okay. That's all.
Thank you for clearing that up.
Go ahead, James.
James Peak, WestCare. I just want to commend you, young man, for the job you're doing. And you actually is a light of hope for many. You know,
Thank you.
what is your motivation to keep going? You know, you need to be heard, need to be seen. You know, and I'm an ex-felon, you know, and Joseph Green's father was my first supervisor when I got into social service. Joseph, I'm extremely proud of you. You know, extremely.
Thank you, sir.
So what is your motivation to do what you do? Toward the change. What was your motivation?
Actually my age, you know, I've been, you know, in and out in the past as a youngin', and it's like I'm getting too old to be, you know, back in the same situations, and you know, stuff changed. So it's like, you know, I can't do this no more, man. You know, it's like I don't want to be one of the old guys in there, you know, just like still can't get it right. So, you know, and like I said, I got a support system that knows my true personality. I'm not a bad person. I just make stupid decisions. So I don't want to get caught up in that, like, okay, you know, bunched up with so I know better. So I got to start doing better. You know, that's all.
Seems like you're doing a good job, young man. You know, keep up the good work. You know,
Thank
you. You're making a difference, and you're really giving young people something to look at, to give them some hope. So, good job.
Thank you.
Any other questions? All right. Oh. All right. Thank you, Mr. Carter. I appreciate you coming on this call because I know you're working hard.
Yeah. I got to give me some sleep.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Thank everybody for listening. And I mean, anytime you need me, I can pop in, you know, and help you out because I appreciate you, Mr. Green. And all right, everybody have a nice afternoon.
Thank you.
All right.
All right. So now going right into that, CTA Second Chance program. What is it about? Everybody want to know what's the credentials, what's the, you know, what your background have to be, things like that, you know, and what do you need to bring to the table before you go? I know a lot of you know people, you may know family members, individuals that are interested, that may be eligible, may not be eligible, right? So I wanted to introduce Miss Misty Brown and let her answer all those questions and just give you an idea of the work that she's doing and the work that they're doing with the CTA Second Chance program, well, the Chicago Transit Authority for the city of Chicago. So you have the floor, Ms. Brown.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me, Mr. Green. I am again excited and just thrilled to be here to be able to share this information with so many agencies. I see that 3 of our partner agencies are on the Zoom call, that being, of course, Westside Health Authority, the Safer Foundation, and Howard Area are, all agencies that have worked with us as we have tried to make sure that this very valuable part of our population, of our community, is able to find its rightful place in the workforce. If you could allow me to share my screen, I'll just take a few minutes to provide a little information about our program, Mr. Green. Is that okay? Okay. To share my screen, I have if you enable screen sharing, then I can share a PowerPoint presentation that's just a few slides long that'll provide the information.
I'm trying to do it right. I'm trying to do it right now. I thought I had it together. I'm slipping. Hold on. Do you have it now?
Let's see. Yep, I got it now. Okay.
All right.
I promise I won't take too much time. Can everyone now? Are you guys able to? Yes. Can you guys see the screen? No?
It's coming. It said it's black. Okay, now there you go.
It's coming.
You got the floor. Do what you do. You good.
Okay, let's get here.
I'm finished.
Shh, hush. This e-learning thing is driving me crazy too. So please, if you hear my grandson, just ignore him, okay? So all aboard Second Chance programs. The Chicago Transit Authority has championed the Second Chance program, whose mission is to provide returning citizens with employment training and professional development opportunities. So not only do we provide work experience for people who have experienced certain barriers to employment, specifically incarceration or a criminal. I'm sorry, are you not able to hear me? Hello?
I can hear you.
Okay, great. Thank you. Thank you so much. In addition to the work experience that we provide for people who have experienced barriers to employment, we also provide professional development, because the goal is to assist our participants in finding long-term permanent employment, right? So we want them to have a sustainable pathway into the workforce. And that's not just gonna happen by dumping a job in front of them, right? They have to have some training. And so that's an important part of our program as well. The Second Chance program was established in 2011, and we use work experience, professional development, mentoring, training, and other networking opportunities to position our participants to be successful in the workplace. The CTA Second Chance program has helped thousands of men and women rebuild their lives and support their families since 2011.
No.
So far, the CTA Second Chance program has 315 full-time temporary employment opportunities for men and women to come in and clean the CTA buses, the trains, and even the rail stations. Everyone starts off in a position such as Mr. Carter's position, the bus servicer apprentice position, which is a guaranteed one-year opportunity as long as you come to work and you do what you're supposed to do. We guarantee 8 hours a day, 40 hours a week. And currently the pay is $13.50 per hour. Now I recognize that, with the increase in minimum wage, this is slightly below, but these are union positions and the contracts are bargained year to year. So right now it's at $13.50. And because this is not a real permanent position, it's only temporary employment, it doesn't have to comply with the minimum wage law, okay? Employees receive free riding privileges on CTA, PACE, and so that's CTA buses, CTA trains, and PACE. There's union membership, and They're part of a premier program that's, recognized all over the nation as a model for program success. And it's the largest program of its type in the country, where men and women who are part of that reentry classification are provided such opportunities with training and employment. So the goal of the program is to provide job skills training. And that's not just, can you write a resume, right? But also we provide training in communication, professional communication in the workplace, goal setting. We did this week, in the last 2 weeks actually. And for the next 3 months, we'll be working on visioning and goal setting, and not just teaching someone what a SMART goal is, but helping them to devise a plan and to understand that you have to work that plan in order to achieve that goal. Otherwise, it's just a wish, your goal is just a dream if you don't do anything to work it. We also want to increase participants' work history. For someone who may have been incarcerated or have had a criminal background, or who's been homeless, or who's been a victim of domestic violence, they don't have a lot of work history to put on that resume. This program offers work history, solid work history with the nation's second largest transportation agency in the country, and it's what employers are looking for. We also will increase the participants' transferable skill set to enable them to understand how skills that they may have gained in the streets or behind the wall can be transferred into the workplace. These are solid skills that, once you learn it, nobody can take that away from you, right? Well, we help them to understand this and to translate those skills into the everyday workforce. We also are developing a pool of qualified candidates for entry-level positions, not only at the CTA, but also various industries outside of the transportation industries. And the goal of the program is also to assist participants in achieving self-sufficiency through permanent employment, where they then are able to reach back and help through the agencies such as yours that are here on this Zoom call today, help someone else to become self-sufficient as well. This just kind of gives you an idea of, over the years, what types of permanent positions our participants have been able to secure through success in our program. Bus operators, car servicers, flagmen, executive administrative assistants, coordinators, human resource assistants, training specialists. And just this year, in fact, 2 months ago, for the first time, one of our participants was able to secure a position as a welder with the Chicago Transit Authority. So that means he went from making $13.50 an hour to over $100,000 a year. Okay, now to be fair, he already had his welding certificate. He already had some experience, but his participation in our program meant that when he applied for that welding position, he was looked at as an internal candidate because he was already a member of the Second Chance program. So we all know internal candidates get looked at first, and he didn't have to compete with the hundreds of other people outside of the agency that would apply. Agency partners. So we have over 24 agency partners at this time. And what our partners do, as those who are present can attest, is provide job readiness training, recruit candidates, screen the candidates. And we like to say, if you don't want to work with them, we don't either, right? Because you're the first contact with the candidate. So if you're having to pull teeth with that candidate to get them to show up for, whatever programming you're doing with them, we're going to have that same problem. So we count on our agencies to know that this wouldn't be a good fit, or to know if this person is eager and doing everything, he just needs a chance or she just needs a chance. Our agencies are able to make that call for us. We count on our agencies to provide background screening and drug screening prior to referral, because these are safety sensitive positions and there's lots of drug testing, ongoing drug testing even with marijuana being legal in Chicago and the state of Illinois, it's not legal nationally. The Congress, our Congress hasn't legalized it yet. And because we receive federal funding at CTA, it's still outlawed on the job. So participants just like me and our president of the CA, there's ongoing drug testing. And so we count on our partner agencies to make sure that this person understands and is drug-free. And we also count on our partners to provide case management and supportive services on an ongoing basis once they've been placed with us. Again, just because you put, employment opportunity in front of someone doesn't mean you've solved all of their problems, right? We still need for our agencies to be in touch with participants that they have referred to us and provide those supportive services that they continue to need, such as housing and even some drug treatment. You may test clean, but you still are battling that addiction and you need the support to help you when you're triggered, to know that you have someone to talk to. We try to be that too, but we're in the business of transportation, right? And so we really count on our agencies for that as well. So this just kind of shows you what commitment looks like in partnership and what we'll provide and what our agencies provide. Again, we're doing job readiness training. We're doing coaching with our participants. We're doing work experience. We're also reporting monthly to our agencies, and we try to advocate for our participants in the workplace. Okay, they don't work downtown with me. Well, when I was downtown before the virus, I'm remote now, but they work in garages, right? So they're working with other members of the Chicago Transit Authority, and we serve as liaisons for them, right? So sometimes people don't understand, what's going on, and we have to be the ones to come and advocate for them. In exchange, we expect the things I've mentioned before from our partner agencies, the continued and ongoing support for the participants, case management, communication. Sometimes we need to reach out to an agency because our participant has been missing for a few days, and our agencies are able to step in and say, oh, well, let me see if I have a number on file for him and, or her. And then to also advocate for the participants as well. So what are the requirements, right? This is what the meat of the thing. What are we looking for in our candidates, okay? Of course, you have to be a citizen or a resident of the city of Chicago. It's a city agency. So, when you tell me, you come in here with a ID that says someone was in Riverdale, you don't qualify. I'm sorry. You have to have a Chicago address to be in a program. You have to be 18 years or older. And you have to experience at least one of these three barriers to employment. A nonviolent, non-sexual felony background, okay, nonviolent and non-sexual felony background, or homelessness, or you must be a survivor of domestic abuse. You have to have demonstrate a 3 to 6 month commitment to personal and professional development. That could be the time that you've been working with your agency as a candidate to prepare for this position, or maybe you've been in a GED class or something like that. You must be currently active with the agency and in good standing with our agency, our partner agency. And you must demonstrate successful completion of the referring agency's job readiness training program. And, most importantly, because you'll be doing this for 40 hours a week, you most definitely have to have an interest in cleaning. Now, it never fails that whenever we interview, someone always says, I love cleaning. I love to clean. And that just tickles me because I hate cleaning. And I'm wondering, do you really love cleaning, or are you just committed to doing it? But we definitely want someone who is interested at the very least in cleaning, because as Mr. Carter said, this is the work that is required. Some other requirements that, you know, must be said is that candidates must be and must remain drug-free. They have to be able to pass a medical exam, able to meet physical requirements of the job. There's stooping, there's bending, there's reaching, there's scrubbing. You got to put a little elbow grease in it sometime to get that graffiti off the window or the seat. And you have to be available to work any shift at any CTA location. There are 7 garages around the city, as far south as 103rd Street, 77th, 74th Street, as far north as Forest Glen and North Park. And then there are 2 garages on the west side, Chicago Avenue and also at Kedzie. So you have to be able to work at either location at any time. Typically, you are assigned to one location for the duration of your time with us, and you will work the 8 p.m. to 4:30 a.m. shift. However, Corona has kind of changed things around, right? So depending on manpower needs, we may have to shift people from the Kedzie garage to 103rd Street. So you got to be flexible. We may have to shift people from the 8 p.m. to 4:30 a.m. shift to meet a manpower need in our morning shift. So again, that flexibility is required. Also, you must be released from work release centers, home confinement, and any drug and alcohol program. Not saying like the meetings that you go to regularly, but like a methadone treatment or something like that. You cannot be active in those types of situations as a participant in the program. And finally, you got to be professional. You got to be work ready and committed to the opportunity and what it's going to take to be successful here. Now, this slide just kind of shows you a little bit of the professional development that we've been able to do, even in this virtual space. We have had interviewing skills. I just mentioned goal setting and visioning that we have recently completed training over the last 2 weeks. Tips from the pros, and in that training, people who were second chance participants actually got on and talked to our participants and shared with them how they were able to go from being a participant to being a training specialist in the safety department, training every single bus and rail operator in the system. How they were able to go from being a second chance participant to being an HR assistant, who is the person that's, you know, making sure you got all your paperwork together, checking your references, giving you your ID badge, and, you know, managing all of those human resource needs. And also networking. We are, you know, trying to position our participants to understand networking, to develop and create their own professional network so that their opportunities are multiplied, right? So they're not just counting on their agencies to do it for them, but to understand that anytime you meet someone in the workplace, that's a networking opportunity. These are just samples of the trainings that we conducted this year. Okay, so I know I've said a mouthful and I've taken quite a bit of time, but if there are any questions, I am happy to answer them at this time.
I'm sorry, you probably
If not,
mentioned this, or did I cut someone off?
no, go ahead, Melissa.
You probably already mentioned this already, but what conviction charges are not accepted again?
Sure. So any violent or sexual felony background, felony conviction or charge would eliminate you from the candidacy process. Okay. Now, UUWs or surprisingly, gun charges are not, unless you murder somebody or something. Those charges don't disqualify you. UUWs, is that what they call them? AUWs, I don't know,
Yes,
something.
ma'am.
Gun charges, those are not disqualifying charges.
Is it on a case-by-case basis?
Well, we do revert well, not we. The Human Resource Department has a background check committee And I do sit on that committee as well as our other coordinator, Miss Melinda Crosby. We sit on the committee, but every application that comes through this Chicago Transit Authority is subject to that scrutiny. So not just second chance participants, but everyone. And what happens is we draw your FBI background, your state of Illinois background, and then a third party background service is pulled for every applicant. And every Friday we sit in meetings and we go through, you know, X number of files for that day, looking at their background. Did they report it? The CTA will hire you with a violent or sexual felony background. You just can't be a part of the second chance program. But CTA, the other positions that are available, their only requirement is that you disclose it. You got to let them know. They want to know what they're dealing with. So if you submit an application and you don't check the box that you have this and you don't write what happened, like I had a DUI with an aggravated homicide because someone died as a result of the accident, you don't write that down, then we, as we're going through your backgrounds, we see, he got this conviction and he didn't include it, that discludes him, okay? Or disqualifies him. So whatever it is, they're very forgiving. The authority is very forgiving. You just have to disclose everything just because of risk factors, okay? Legal wants to know.
One more question. How about if they do have a violent charge, but it's 20 years old? Would that make a difference?
Unfortunately, it still matters for the second chance program. We're working to change that, but right now, you know, it still matters. It doesn't matter if it's 19. I saw in background check committee charges going back to 1960 something. You know, it still matters. We need to know about it. And if it's a violent background, a violent charge, you'd be disqualified from the second chance program, but not necessarily from applying for a regular CTA position. Okay.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Got a question,
Yes,
James of WestCare, and some of the clients we deal with, they federal clients. Do that make a difference?
We get federal background check. You know, we're doing a
Okay.
federal background check as well as the state and then the private. So it doesn't matter. What matters is whether it was a violent or sexual felony.
Okay.
And whether you report it in the application.
Arson too, right? Arson too, right?
Yes.
And arson. So no flames.
Well, that's violent, right? That'd be considered violent. Mm-hmm.
Ms. Hernandez asks, is it possible to get a copy of the presentation?
I will check with my manager. Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Make sure this can happen.
That's why I was taking photocopies. I was going to ask a question. Pretty much, what would be the process? Let's say, for example, Raphael, once his 12 months is up, should he start applying for new positions beforehand, or like how does that work?
Absolutely. We encourage participants to apply on day one, because once you are a part of our program, you're an internal candidate, right? Any application that you submit is considered an internal application. So on day one, you want to start applying for positions that you qualify for. Look, I tell them, you know, if you want, I don't care if it's for president of the authority, if you meet those qualifications, if you feel like you meet those qualifications, please apply. Please apply.
T for tablet.
You multitasking, boy. I love it. I love it.
Meemaw, look, I'm being meemaw with this e-learning thing, and it's driving me crazy.
I ain't mad at you. Any more questions for Ms. Brown?
Yeah, can I please have your email address or contact info?
Sure, I'll put it in the chat for everyone.
Thank you.
And if there's nothing else, I'm going to stop sharing my screen, and thank you guys so much for an opportunity to speak with you today.
Thank you for sharing this information. I think a lot of times everybody doesn't know. And so this is actually, I've been recording the whole Zoom meeting, so I'm gonna have this on YouTube and also share it to the Facebook page. So for people who, and that's what I was gonna start doing next year, was just basically have a link to the videos, so those who are not on the call can watch the video later. Because I know a lot of times we did change our day. We would usually do this on a Thursday, but because of our Overcomers group and just so many people that we feed, and we had to push it to another day because of the virus and everything. So thank you, Ms. Brown. Are there any more questions? Somebody else might have a question. I don't want, get it out. Get it out.
Sure.
All right. Well, I thank you, Ms. Brown, for your time. And I really appreciate you just really sharing today and empowering us with the information. And then she did put her information in the chat. So if you need to reach out to her, again, Safer Foundation, Westside Health Authority, CSAC North, we do have the contract. So if you have people that meet that criteria, we encourage you to send them our way, right? All right, so we're gonna move on to our next and our final guest speaker, who just said some great things about me, but I've been knowing Mr. Peak for a long time. As he, let everybody know, my father, if it wasn't for my father introducing me to George, I wouldn't even be in this position. And James knows me from when I was younger. I was not this person. I was definitely not this person that you see before you. I had to mature, I had to grow up, and I had to realize exactly what my purpose was, which I definitely have found. But to see individuals that I've grown up with, to see their work and see where they've taken their life to, is just tremendous. And, James was one of the first people that congratulated me on the position at the first CSAC meeting. And then we were at the, what is that? We haven't been in so long. The integrated staffing with Taz. Man, I miss integrated staff, and I can't wait for it to come back, man, so I can see these guys. But I just want to introduce this man because every time I see him, it's nothing but good love. But I wanted him to let you know about what he is doing in the community, what he has been doing in the community, and he K-Town strong, baby. You know what I'm saying? So without further ado, I just want to introduce Mr. James Peak Jr. from WestCare, Illinois. And you have the floor, sir.
All right. Hello, everybody. Again, James Peak Jr., WestCare. I primarily do mentoring and some substance abuse counseling. We located here in Pilsen. I'm gonna tell you a little bit about me as I go on. Again, I'm an ex-felon myself. I've been clean and sober 26 years. To see the young man speaking, that just moved me. I primarily love doing what I'm doing to help young people because I want them to be able to see something good because they are the future. WestCare provides medical assisted treatment. We do case management. Like we're doing a lot of virtual sessions, but we provide phones, tablets, help you with insurance, and Sheridan Correctional Center. We located there. So, and I do a lot of work in K-Town, like I said, K-Town. So I'm part of a reunion committee. So I was glad to be on this call so I can get some connections to help some of the adults that I work with, like the CTAC mentor program, Second Chance program, because I got a couple of guys that are in the program, they might be interested. What's her name, Mr. Hernandez? I have clothes that I can give away. So this is great, and Ms. Knox, you gave me some information too, because I got some young people that I mentor that they call me looking for jobs and stuff. Maybe I can connect them to you all. So, I mean, we do together, you know what I mean? So, and WestCare has been around for quite a period of time. We've worked with individuals dealing with trauma. I'm not the expert, but we're a team effort, you know? I'm not finna get on here and say like I got all the answers, because people do that. Of course, we know that. But WestCare is a great organization, been around, like, you know, Joe, they've been around forever. And prior to WestCare, I was with Gateway. That's where I met Joseph Green. So, and his father is working with WestCare. He works with us in Sheridan. So, any questions? Go ahead.
The journey that you've been on so far, what were some of the challenges that you had to face while you was on this journey?
Well, I was incarcerated in Lincoln Correctional Center in 1994. You know, I did 6 months. But when I was released, my mom's died the next month. You know, and like a young man was speaking earlier, I looked at what my reality could be. You know, I didn't want to be the old dude they called him Pops. And some of the challenges I had to face, I had to go right back to my community. You know, I had to learn how to avoid, you know, those pitfalls. So, you know, identify my triggers. But what's key is being able to find something to motivate you. You know, like you said, Joe, you weren't always that way. You got to find a purpose. And you need someone who can help you sort of like see those things. You know, you better than this. So we have to work together as a community, all these organizations. We have to it's like a big village to me, you know, but we have to be able to take care of your house, to be able to go outside of your house to make a difference. You got to realize what you have within your house. You know what I'm saying? So I'm very big on helping young people in the communities that I'm a part of so they can learn how to help each other, support each other, you know. So a young man like Joseph Green, you are, man, I'm 54, you know, and whatever I could do to help anybody, I'm willing to do it. You know, some people get into this type of work, they have an ego. You know. Anybody else? Feel free. And before let me say this. I follow Christ. Without God, it wouldn't have happened. It wouldn't have happened. You know, I've been drug and alcohol free for 26 years. No desire. None. You know, and I think people need to hear these conversations. You know, they need to hear, because that gives the individual hope. You know, when you're going through despair, sometimes you feel like don't nobody understand. You feel like you're by yourself.
That's real. I think Melissa had a question, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, yeah, I just wanted to know, what's the age range of the individuals that you mentor?
14 to like 21. Right now, we just finished the program called Rise. It's 14 to 18.
Great, thank you.
If you can, you know, because if you can put your information in the chat, just so that if you want to link up with people in the future, if they want to link up with you, we can coordinate that. I forgot an event that I need to share too, because I know people probably dropping off. Benny Lee sent this to me earlier. And it's from Chicago Association of Black Psychologists presents How Can Black Mental Health Workers Be Useful in the Community? This event is Saturday, which is tomorrow on the 21st from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. And there's a registration to get there, to be in it. And there are a number of individuals that are going to be speaking part of that, including Representative Ford. So I'm gonna drop that link in the description. And if you are able to join or be a part of that, then I want to encourage you to do it. I should have did that earlier. I do apologize. Are there any more questions for Mr. Peak?
Yeah, Joe, this is Tanya. I got a quick question for Mr. Peak. Mr. Peak, I'm finding that even when I'm out doing outreach, that it's a lot different. I feel like you and I are in the same age group, so it's a lot different from when we were younger. You know, especially the respect from the younger individuals, like there is none. So I have to play a couple of roles, you know, when I'm out there just trying to give out information. So I'm either playing mom or auntie or, you know, grandma or whoever I'm resembling at that moment, you know, to try to get my point across. Are you finding that even with, you know, doing your mentoring, are you finding that you're having the same type of, I'm not even gonna call them problems because I'm just gonna say it, you know, the only way I can say it in the Black community, we just don't have them problems. You either gonna get it or you gonna get it right. So that being said, you know, are you finding that, you know, it's the mindset is just so different? You know, how do you tackle these different mindsets, you know, when you're dealing with the youth and mentoring them?
Oh, you know, you have to be able to, I always say it like this, you got to be able to speak their language, so to speak, and you got to be able to give them something they ain't heard. Okay, like one of my first approaches when I speak to young people, not only young people, but even older people, one of the first questions I ask a person is, tell me something good about you. Because sometimes they don't never hear stuff like that. They don't never hear nobody say, want to know nothing about them. You know, what I basically try to do, I try to bridge my world with their world. They have so many challenges. And there's so many young men. I had a young guy who got murdered a couple months ago, 17 years old. But there's so many young men that live in single households that the sound of a man's voice is foreign. You know, they don't know nothing about eating at the table together. You know, the mother, she's dealing with her issues, you know, emotions, she's working, doing whatever she's trying to do. And then she might be caught up with a man in her life where she's giving this man more attention than her child. And only time she get a young man attention if he do something negative. So they carry that behavior over to the school setting in the community. So they practice behavior just to get attention. So I try my best to always see something good in them, tell them something good. And you got to be able to reiterate this stuff. You got to be consistent in their life. Because I have young men there calling me, Mr. James, I need a job. You got some information on this? Now, all the time, I know they still might be hustling, whatever they do that's negative. But I look at it like this. Even though they might be doing what they're doing, they still searching for something good. They looking. They still seeking something good. So you have to be able to build a rapport with them, and like they speak their lingo, like they like to call it checking the bag. I'll say, okay, can I help you find out a way to you can check a real bag? You know, I had a young man, he's working at Jewels now. They call it, Joe, what they call it, playing cracking the cards or whatever, something like that. They take these ATM cards. But anyway, I say, man, you ain't cracking no cards, are you? And he used to say, man, you be in my head, James. Mr. James, you be in my head. So it ain't nothing big, but you got to come down to their level. You got to make them, you got to meet them where they at. They don't have nothing to look at. They really don't. And you can't make them change, so you just try to give them the information. So when they decide to make a change, they know another way. They know, I mean, I think some of us don't forget when we were young. Like we had it all together.
Right.
They got more challenges because everything is up close and personal. Some of these young men, moms is out there on the block. Ain't no man around. They on the block hustling now. Women, the incarceration rate is rising for women because the man ain't there. You know, I just be organic with them. And when you could be straight with them, they'll come to you.
I'm getting a lot of women in my program right now ever since coronavirus. And I think I contributed to, they have a lot more stress. They have kids underfoot. They might have lost their jobs. And so I've been getting a lot of women.
Yes, yes. Yeah. No, I work part-time at High Grove Hospital. It's ooh, you see a 10-year-old in a mental hospital. And I'm gonna say this before I stop. It's a lot of men who get out of prison who've been had got sexual issues. They're predators. And they get out and they hook up with these baby mamas or whoever. And they they mess with the kids. You know what I mean? It's so many young men and some women that who've been touched and fondled with. You see what I'm saying? And a lot of young men are angry. So their anger is coming through the gun. I'm not making excuses for their behavior, but you got to get to the root of the root of the problem. They don't know how to forgive because sometimes their family is the guys in the street. So if they see a young man doing something good and they feel like you leaving me, some of them get angry. Abandonment issues. Some young men, they grew up with their guys. One of them might be going to school, working it, and they hang out with some of the guys who's still in the streets heavy. And some of the guys that they into it with see him with them. And a few days later, they done killed this guy because he one of them. Or then sometime I'm hurting, I'm gonna get somebody that's gonna hurt you. But you don't get that information if you don't know how to communicate with them. That's how I know, because I listen to what they saying. And if we don't learn to work with our young people, hey, we had some good examples. The riots, they ain't going nowhere, and they bold. They're not even fearful of the police. So we need to learn how to work with them. We need to learn how to listen to what they got to say so we can teach them. Because they're not going nowhere. If you hungry, you going where the food at. Thank y'all.
That was real, bro. That was real.
Can you put his information in the chat, please, Mr. Green?
Yes, ma'am.
So James, this is Beverly. I have a question. So I've worked with women's for many years, and I know we focus a lot on PTSD in women's. I've been working with women's for over 20 years off and on. So I recently just started working with some of the members are men's. And how do you feel about I know basically I can speak for myself as an African American. Our culture, we didn't deal with mental health, right? I know for me, when we growed up, it was considered crazy. How do you feel when these guys, because I heard you talking about some of the things you've seen at Hardgrove. I do believe that a lot of these young guys are dealing with some trauma, like PTSD, right? So, I mean, how do you feel about that? Because I've been educating a lot of the women's and men's as I educated myself and my belief system when it comes to mental illness, but mental illness is real, right? And men's don't talk about that. You don't hear a lot of guys talking about it, unless it's, from the Army, veterans. But I do believe that a lot of these young guys have been dealing with some PTSD, some trauma, some form of trauma.
Thanks, Beverly. The truth be told, we all got trauma. I think it should be a requirement to be taught in every school, so at some level. It's just that some people trauma is like I look at it like this. We all got some craziness in us. Some people, the door has been knocked all the way open. If you see young people practicing high-risk behaviors, that's soothing because of the trauma. That's a release. You know, I see some stuff, be like, I wouldn't do it. If you see them laughing and because and trauma ain't always where you've been directly affected by somebody touching you or whatever. Sometimes just what you see in the community every day. You've been traumatized by that. And yes, Beverly, it's needed. It needs to be implemented in the schools, every program at some level.
Yeah, I was thinking, you're right. It doesn't mean it has to be like they're touched, but I'm thinking in the mental status. I've been working with a lot of young adult men's lately, and men's are taught we be strong, right? Not to deal with their emotions and their feelings. They just like learn to survive, and they develop, which is their coping skills. It is their value system. So a lot of times I try to just inform them they have the right to change their value system and be non-judgmental. It's so important to be non-judgmental to these that we're working with that's less fortunate or dealing with some issues, because what is our value system? And I had to learn this. Like I used to be like, how can they live like that? How can they do this? They have really taught me so much. I really enjoy working in this field because it has really taught me more compassion, to be more compassionate and non-judgmental. And so now I look at these young guys like, you see them out there. Sometimes we pray, we wake up, we say, God, thank you for another day. They say, oh, my mama, if somebody touched me today, I'm messing them up, right? How do you do? I just really take my hat off to all you guys who work with these young guys, because like you say, they beasts now. It's different. It's different. I grew up in a gang infested, my brother, them were gang bangers, but, they're not afraid of the police. They're not afraid, and they're dealing with a lot of stuff. Really, a lot of times what I do, and I like how you say, tell me something good about yourself, because they haven't heard that. They hear negativity all the time. I really like that approach of you being able to help them identify there is something good in you. Right. So I commend all you guys who help these fellas who's out there mentoring them, and just, kudos up to you and blessings.
Thank you. Let me say this. This is a question for everybody. Imagine you being maybe age 11, 12, 13, 14, so up in that age group. And every day, someone you possibly grew up with, knowing your community, you watching them, they getting killed. Now, you expect this young man and young lady to go to school, stay focused. Now, this is every day. So it's like you punch it, you sealing a hole with water coming through it, right? You seal that hole up, then another hole open up. This every day. And your frontal lobe don't develop till you pass 25. The way we see it, they don't see it. So I'm just wondering, how do we expect them to do it? And I got a group of guys, young people that are amazing, 15, 16 years old. They are amazing. So I want to help change the narrative that young people have, primarily African Americans, because there's a stigma associated with them. So I'm all in with it. I'll do this free.
James, this is Maria Moon with Chicago Area Fair Housing Alliance. I just wanted to say thank you a lot for everything you do. So I automatically connected with you, before you even started talking, just introducing yourself. So what I want to say is it could be an opinion from my experience, just to know that it may be a lot of people that disagree with it. I don't see that it's a divide generationally. I don't see that. Because the kids that you're talking about, I have more in common with those kids than I do many other adults that's doing this great work on this Zoom call. I've actually been in Hardgrove as a teen. I've been in Michael Reese. I've been in Charter Barkley as a teen, as a kid, not even as a teen, as a kid. preteen.
God bless you.
Thank you. And I did almost 13 years in prison. But I felt I really, so I believe that it's people that's called to that also. Like I say, so when you introduced yourself, I connected with you right away. It was like, bam. So I do think that it has something to do with like calling, like we all are good at certain things. Like some people, they so good with seniors, you know what I mean? And, and we learn from those people on how to partner with seniors. And some people, they really good with women, and you know what I mean? And we learn from those folks on how to work with women. Some people, so I just wanted to say that I don't think it's like this generation is more this, more that, more that.
Okay.
I really don't see that, because in my neighborhood, most of the teens were like the ones that we talking about, including myself. I had absolutely no respect for the police, absolutely no respect at all. Actually, I started things with them. As soon as I even saw them, I would just start saying derogatory language. I would race them. People do not know this about me. So I write about these things in private. And people that knew me when I was younger or family members know this about me. But people that work with me in this field, they don't know these things that I'm saying right now about me, even the hospitalizations and things like that. So I just want to say that you hit the spot as far as everything you were saying about what the young people need. It was a witness in my spirit, like, yes, listen to them, hear what's going on with them, the empathy, the compassion. But also I want to say something that's very unpopular: accountability, right? Because when I start, I know this is not that popular, but when I started learning some level of accountability, it gave me a sense of power. See, now I have power. So when people were just telling me, oh, you from the projects, oh, and I was diagnosed with PTSD too as a kid also. So I can definitely relate to that also as well. But it was like people was just only seeing me as a victim. And yes, I've been molested by men and women as a child, so I'm not saying that those things were my fault, but at the same time, it's just a power and empowerment when you tell me that it's a choice I have, even if I don't have a lot of choices or options. But it just gave me some sense of empowerment. And I've been out of prison for 7 years and some months now. And that's a part of it. It's a great part of it, that it is I'm not saying that these things were not traumatic in my life and these things, I'm not saying that, but I don't have to be a victim to these things that happen to me. I don't have to be a victim of coming from the projects, being born and raised, having PTSD, being hospitalized, being molested by women and men, being raped, doing 13 years in prison, being Black, you know what I mean? It's like, so somebody talked about a way of thinking, a paradigm. And I just want to say that is a part of it. Everybody is on here, right? But me being directly impacted, I really hope people can take this in consideration, that accountability factor, it matters. And that, to me, somebody talked about fatherlessness in a home. So I didn't have much of an accountability factor either, because my father was a gangbanger and still is from Inglewood, and so I didn't even know him. But it's something about that father's voice. It's something about, and because of my relationship with God and learning him to be father, not trying to make this about church, y'all. I am a street preacher, but not trying to make it about church, but it's that father's voice in my life right now. Right. And it's full of empathy, but yet it's full of accountability. You see what I mean? So it may not be a natural man as the father's voice in my life, but my relationship with God, it helped a lot. So I know I've been long-winded, you all, but I didn't even want to speak, didn't even think I was going to speak, to be honest with you. But I just want to thank you all for the work you are doing, whether it's with women, whether it's with the young people or whatever. And I'm always willing to connect with any of you all and work with you all and partner with you. And I'm just honored and blessed to be able to know you all. Thank you all.
You're welcome. I want to say this real quick. I gotta go, but working in social service, it's becoming more transparent. You know, it used to be where people, certain things they want to speak on, but you have to be able to connect, you know, to give people to see something. But I wanted to say, you know, I was adopted. You ever seen what's the fish? Let me say it like this.
You
My
talking about
mom,
Antoine Fisher?
Antoine, I have a similar story. I never knew my father. I was raised in a home by my mother who adopted me. That's my mother. And she was an elderly lady, widow. So I've been through it. So I have no shame or nothing. You know, and Joseph Green, your father, what really helped me in this field, he took the time to sit me down and work with me. You don't see that no more. He sat me down at his desk. So I'm forever grateful for the people that, you know, sort of like open the door for me. And you have to remember that. So with saying that, Joe, just stay humble and remember the people that gave you opportunity, so to speak. You know, we have a tendency to forget our heritage, forget the people who paved the way for us. You know, humility means stay low, because your life can change in an instant. And them people that you look down on, them the people you're gonna need. You know, your father's a great man. And without him, you know, when the other people wanted to knock me off, he stood up for me.
Don't have us on here crying, James. I got to go to work now when this is over with.
You need to cry some time.
I thank you for that, because like right now you got me so touched. I mean, seriously. Like, I mean, you know, it means a lot to me to hear these things, because I encounter so many young people in the community that desire love. They just desire love. Some of them they even want the discipline, you know, when I'm fussing. Yeah. And, you know, when, hey, pull your pants up. I ain't come over here to see that. You know, so they looking at me, oh, here come auntie with this nonsense. But it's still me getting, you know, that respect. And, you know, what you just said was all about respect. It was all about love. But it also brought me back to the mind of, you know, Mr. Green's dad being a figure to you, you know, yes. Father figure, or uncle figure, you know, grandfather, whoever. And, you know, that was kind of what I was getting at when I was saying, you know, when I go out there to outreach, I have to wear a lot of different hats, you know, mama, auntie, whoever, you know, and you just gonna have folks on here crying. We ain't got time for that today. But that was just beautiful. And I just wanted to thank you for that. I'm messing with you. But that really was, you know, something that affected me, and you know, definitely put some things on my mind as to, you know, how I'm affecting people as well. So thank you so much for that.
Well,
so we are actually at the end of the time, but I see how that conversation, when you started, could just open up a lot of more conversation to really let people know, you know what I'm saying, the work that's being done, but the work that you had to go through to get where you are today. And, you know, again, I commend everybody on this call for all the hard work that you've been doing and continue to do. It's not easy, especially, you know, with all the adversity that you have to face, because we all have lives as well. You know what I'm saying? It's not just doing the work for other people. And sometimes you get so attached, you have to, know what I'm saying, be able to sometimes create boundaries, but also be able to, know what I'm saying, just exhale. So our next meeting will be December the 18th. That's on a Friday, and it'll be at the same time, 12 o'clock. Still working on who's going to be on the call, but I will say this, because I know this is going to be recorded. well, it is being recorded. I thank everybody that's on the call. I thank everybody that's watching this later. If you are interested in being a guest speaker, please get in contact with me at jgreen@healthauthority.org. And I can also be reached at 773-241-1115. All right. So I thank everybody that's on the call that remained. And I thank everybody that presented. I thank Mr. Peak. I thank Ms. Brown. I thank all of y'all for taking time out today, just being on the call. Ms. Cole didn't really get to talk because she had came in at the end, but Ms. Cole from Legal Aid Chicago, thank you. As always, thanks Ms. Capricia Martin. Just thank everybody. Thank you all. Thank you, Mr. Chamberlain. Thank you, Katrina. You know, I ain't know you were still on the call. Thank you, Katrina. Thank you, everybody. Tanya, Beverly, Maria, as always. Mike, Ms. Knox, you know what I'm saying? We gonna see you going soon. So with that being said, I'll see y'all next month. Happy Thanksgiving, happy holidays, be safe, and God bless y'all.
Yeah, thank you all. Great speech, James, and thank you, Joseph, and love you, Maria.
Blessings, everyone.
Thank you. That was fantastic.
Absolutely.